wild card playoffs and the NFL playoffs as a whole. Welcome back to Couch Casual. Today we're going to do a quick recap of the two games that just happened. The Bears-Packers game just ended as at the time I'm recording this video. And what a start to the playoffs. I don't think we could have asked for a better start to the NFL playoffs. Panthers Rams was an instant classic and Bears Packers was an instant classic. We're going to talk about both games, but we're going to start with the first game of the day between the Rams and the Panthers, the game that everyone thought would be a blowout. Rams 12-5, Panthers 8-9. The Rams are 10-point favorites. But again, the Panthers did beat this Rams team earlier in the regular season, and I thought that's what gave them a chance to make this a good game, despite the large majority of people thinking the Rams were going to not only win this game but also easily win this game. And honestly, at the beginning of this game, it looked like that was going to be the case. The Rams were up 14-0. The Panthers couldn't really do anything offensively. They turned it over on the fourth down on their first drive. They had the interception on, I think, their second drive. They couldn't stop Puka Nacua at all. Stafford was getting no pressure. He had all day to throw the ball, and then something changed. I think that fourth down that the Panthers stopped, that the Rams went for it, because the Rams were up 17-7, I think it was. They failed to convert on fourth down. Instead of kicking the field goal to go up 13, it stays a 10-point game, and that's where it really changed. That's where the Panthers' offense played significantly better, as well as their defense. Bryce Young made a lot of great throws. Jalen Coker had a coming out party in this game. 134 yards, 9 catches, and a touchdown. He had the slant, or not the slant, like the dig route that he took, 50 yards. He had the touchdown on a great pass from Bryce Young. He had another deep catch. McMillan had a good game. They couldn't really get the ground game established at all. And Bryce Young still had a great game, especially after the first quarter. But they come up short as their defense, the Panthers' defense, which played very good. Once Stafford hurt his hand, he really wasn't playing the same, and the Panthers' defense sort of took advantage of that. They started playing a lot better. But then on that final drive, the Rams drive the ball down the field pretty easily. The Panthers were playing pretty soft coverage. The Rams drive down the field. Stafford throws a beautiful pass to Colby Parkinson, who gets the game-winning touchdown. And then the Panthers don't do anything on their final drive. Jimmy Horn has the dropped pass. I don't think they would have won that game even if he caught it, but he definitely would have given them a chance to pull it off. But I think overall, for the Rams side of things, I worry a little bit about their chance to go far in the playoffs. I know the Panthers are a better team than people gave them credit for, but this still necessarily isn't a game that should have barely been won if you're the Rams. Now, this is my Super Bowl pick. I picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl. We don't know who they're going to play yet. They could play the Bears or the Seahawks. We'll obviously get into the Bears game in a little bit, but so we don't know the Rams' next opponent. I do think if they get matched up with the Seahawks, it's going to be very difficult for them to win, as well as it will be if they get matched up against the Bears. But I think going forward in this playoffs, I am slightly less confident in the Rams than I was going into it. But maybe this is what they needed. Maybe they needed to be reminded that even a team like the Panthers isn't a team they can just easily beat. And maybe it's good that they won a close back and forth game against a worse team. And now they're a little more battle tested for when they have to play in the next round. So maybe this is a good thing that they barely lost to the Panthers. But I still think the Rams are one of the best teams, and I still think they are a favorite to win the whole thing. But I'm not maybe as confident as I was going into the playoffs as I am now. And on the Panthers side of things, I think this is a successful season if you're the Panthers. They didn't really have a ton of expectations. They weren't favored to win the division. And regardless of their 8-9 record, regardless of how they ended up winning the division, as it was one of the weirdest ways I've ever seen a team win the division, they still got to the playoffs and they proved they belong. They went toe to toe with a very good Rams team that they already beat once. So they almost beat a team in the Rams that is significantly better than them two times, as well as in the playoffs. I think Bryce Young proved that I think he proved that he's the franchise quarterback for the Panthers. But if you're not going to say that, I definitely think he deserves to play out his fourth year and get the fifth year option, which I think was a report that came out that they're likely going to pick that up. But I do think he, after this game, definitely deserved to get that fifth year picked up and at least play out a 5 years contract with the Panthers and then see where things go with that. Jalen Coker, McMillan, they've proven that they are the future receiver 1 and 2 of this team. But overall, I think it was a successful season for the Panthers. I don't think there's too much to be upset about. And the Rams, they're still obviously trying to contend for the Super Bowl. That is still their aspirations, and I do still think they can do it. But I'm definitely again not as confident as I was going into the playoffs. And now talking about the second game of the day, this Bears Packers game. And if you look at the win probability on ESPN, the Packers had a 94% win probability with 5.5 minutes left in the game, and the Bears won this. Another comeback from Caleb Williams and the Bears. Get rid of these ads. It did not look good for the Bears at all. They were down 21-3 at the end of at halftime, and they were down 21-6 at the end of the third, and ended up outscoring the Packers 25-6 in that fourth quarter. I mean, the Bears offense couldn't do anything. I mean, they literally scored 6 points in 3 quarters. Their defense also couldn't do anything in the first half. Jordan Love had all the time in the pocket. Romeo Doubs was making catches left, right, and center. Matthew Golden had his best game of his career. That great touchdown, the 36-yard touchdown he had. No, I think that was a different play. But the touchdown where he broke 5 tackles and got his first NFL touchdown of his career. And the Packers offense was just doing whatever they wanted against this Chicago defense. But something in that second half clicked for the Bears as they held the Packers to only 6 points in that second half. They were getting some pressure. Montez Sweat, Austin Booker, they were getting a ton of pressure off the edge. And even though TJ Edwards went down with his injury, even though they were picking on Kyler Gordon, who's been banged up, their defense and even their special teams played so well in that second half, completely shut down Green Bay's offense, and that's what allowed Caleb Williams and this Bears offense to finally put it together. Colston Loveland, talk about the rookies. I mean, Kyle Monangai had an all right game. It was more DeAndre Swift in the rushing department, but Colston Loveland had a fantastic game for the Bears. It seems like that's all they looked for. It's just, where's Colston Loveland? And they gave him 15 targets. And then Matthew Golden had a good game as well on the Packers side of things. But this was I mean, the Bears and Packers played what, 3 times in a span of 7 weeks, and all three of them were insane games. I don't know I don't know how much I believe the Bears can do and how far I think they can go in the playoffs. It's going to be tough. They're going to get matched up with either the Rams or the Eagles. It's going to be tough to win either one of those games. I think the Bears can beat both those teams. I also think they can lose to both those teams. But similar to the Panthers, there wasn't a ton of expectations for the Panthers. They massively exceeded them, and even though they lost in the first round, it's still a successful season. Now, the Bears had a little bit more expectations than the Panthers did, but they've also had a better season than the Panthers, getting 3 more wins and winning their wild card game. But regardless, I think if the Bears end up losing in the next round to either the Rams or the Eagles, it is still a very successful season if you're a Bears fan. They won, what, 5 games last year? They bring in Ben Johnson. They win 11 games, win the division, get the 2 seed, win a playoff game in this type of fashion. Caleb Williams played great down the stretch. And again, defense played great. And for the Packers, I'm not really sure because they make the trade for Micah Parsons. They instantly become a contender, one of the top teams in the NFC. They start off the season very well. Their defense is playing fantastic, and then Micah Parsons goes down against Denver, and they kind of have an underwhelming finish to the season. Jordan Love has some injuries. Josh Jacobs wasn't fully healthy towards the end of the season. And it was kind of a letdown at the end, but you can understand why they didn't have the best end to the season. I don't think this means too much for the Packers. I think they're gonna. I mean, we have to see what happens with Micah Parsons next year when he comes back because he had his injury pretty late in the season. But I do think the Packers will once again be one of the better teams in the NFC. Probably get the 7 seed in the playoffs because that's what they like to do. They love that 7 seed. But Jordan Love had a fantastic game. 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. But they just got they you can't stop the comeback Chicago Bears, it seems like. No lead is safe with the Bears even in the playoffs, and this Bears team is going up. Same thing with the Panthers when we talked about their game earlier, but once again, what a wild card. What an opening to the wild card weekend, the super wild card weekend. You couldn't have asked for a better start to the NFL playoffs. And hopefully the next 4 games, 3 of them on Sunday, 1 of them on Monday, continue to be this good. Because if that's the case, we might be in store for one of the best playoffs we've had in a while. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.